Huge internet. Sorry, guys. No, I didn't unplug the internet. I just plugged in my son's internet there because he wants internet too. Internet's been doing this. Internet's been doing this, and it's not the internet too. I have Shaw 600, so yeah, no, I wasn't able. I wasn't able to stream last night. I don't know why. So I borrowed my neighbor's tower, and I borrowed his Wi-Fi, and it's working fine. And he has Shaw 300, and my Shaw is better than his. So there's something wrong. I don't know if YouTube is. I don't know if they're generating people's or tracking people's whatever. We got the Raven on here. Let's get the Raven on the show. I want to get the Raven on and ask him what he thinks about Gen X. What generation is he in? Has he been in jail? Not. If so, where?
How's it going?
What's up, dog?
How you doing? Good.
I'm doing good. How's your weekend going?
Pretty hot here.
Yeah,
it's like
it's like 36 here.
You were talking about Wi-Fi. I bought a Wi-Fi booster today. It's three. It looks like smoke detectors. You put one. I'm going to put one in the guest cottage, one at the dock, and one in the garage, and it boosts the Wi-Fi at the cottage, so you can get Wi-Fi in the whole property.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing.
That's good. Okay, so tell us, Raven, are you a Generation X? Are you a boomer or are you a millennial?
I'm a Gen X.
Okay,
What's
so
Gen X?
were you born after 79? Or after 77? Sorry.
Isn't Generation X, isn't it 65 to like 1982?
Well, it says 80 to 82 arguably. Yeah. What year were you born in?
70.
Oh, you were born in 19. Yeah, you're fine. 19. I think it's
65 to 82.
82.
83.
Yeah. So you're fine.
So
You're a Gen Xer. Now, what's your number one issue with being a Gen Xer?
I'll never retire.
Okay, continue.
Never will. No, that's probably it. We're going to work till the day we die. All of us.
So what does that mean? What does that mean for the millennials that can't pass you on the corporate ladder?
Millennials?
Yeah.
Millennials screwed. There's no money for them. There's no yield out there. See, I bought a bunch of properties and they doubled in value. Millennials can't do that. Millennials are going to buy property and they're going to get halved in value. They're going to go down, negative equity. They can't buy stocks. There's no more yield. Millennials are screwed. They can't make money. They can't save for a future. Their shot's gone.
So
all these young kids that are starting work, they don't have a clue. Our currency depreciating 5 to 8% a year. In 10 years, you're looking at half the value of your money. But we're not going to make it.
Well, hold on. Let me interject here, please. Millennials from India have a chance. Because hold on, let me explain. 300,000 millennials are coming to work in the tech sector in Silicon Valley from India, and they're going to work at supreme low wages. So those millennials might have a chance.
Yeah, they could. They could get out, if they can get out of that and better wages, but
because they're going to work for half the wages. A lot of tech workers from India are coming in now. And I spoke to someone from Silicon Valley, and they said they're losing their job. They make $166,000 a year, and they're losing their job. And they hired somebody from India that's making like a quarter of what they make, and the person from India is taking the job.
12 years ago, buy any property out there, you're making money. Do that now. You're not going to do it.
You buy money anywhere. You're underwater.
Yeah, there's just. And I got my CPP statement in the mail too. They're raising my CPP. Everything's getting raised. They want more money, and they're taking more and more and more.
Okay, well, doesn't that mean that you're going to get more money when you retire?
Well, what about the kids that are 20 years old that are paying in? They got to go 35 years of paying that more money. What's going to be there for them? Nothing. There's nothing.
So They're saying let's cancel the boomers' pensions. That's what a lot of people have
Well,
been saying.
I I think we all know they're gonna lower rates on the 31st in the U.S. Probably a 0.25%. What's
Mm.
that going to do to pensions? We all know pensions, insurance companies, fixed income. What's that going to do to those people? There's no return. They're screwed. We're going back to zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, great economy there, Trump. Great, doing real great. Yeah.
So okay, tell us. So where do you see the boomers going?
Uh, 10,000 people are retiring every day in the U.S. right now. That's what they say. 10,000 heading for Social Security, 10,000 looking for their handout. That's every single day. 80 million people are going to retire in the next 10 years in the US. Can't be done. The money's not there. We're already running $1 trillion deficit every year. It's just not there. They're lying to us about everything. So you better think about what you're going to do and how you're going to protect what you have. How are you going to come out on the other side of this? You better get some hard assets and hold them. That's all I can say. It's all I understand to do. Maybe some good rental properties in a good area, silver and gold, and whatever else you can have, to help get you through. That's what I think. And
Interesting.
millennials are screwed, Mike. There's no argument about it. They're screwed. They're not going to they're not going to be sitting at my age thinking, oh, I'm going to go retire at the cabin and I'm going to do. There's nothing. There's going to be no pensions for them. We're going to have to go through a long, long period of trying to solve this, figure it out, and rebuild the system. And it's going to take a long time. Everything's overvalued. And if that's going to be fixed, then we have to cut everything down to half, probably half the value of that it is now. What's that going to do? There has to be a reset. They know that.
So, but the millennials right now are in a position right now where but they have one thing going for them that we don't have, is that they're one of the most educated group in Western history. I can't even read. Woo!
You know what? These kids come to us every day. We got constantly out of Winnipeg 20 new. We have 75 laid off, but we're still hiring. We're hiring new guys because they want to hire them, train them, and then lay them off and have them waiting there in case we need them in the winter. These kids don't even want to leave Winnipeg. They just want to get a paycheck so they can keep playing their video games. I don't think they're the smartest group out there.
No? Okay.
Ooh, I think
Street smarts, no. Street smarts and money
that's what I was going to.
wise and all that stuff, no.
You're a little bit younger than me, not a lot, but we used to play on our bikes, Mike, when we were young. We used to go outside. We used to take things apart. We didn't have the crazy video games constantly when I was growing up. We were on our bikes. We were down at the river fishing. We were doing stuff, figuring things out. These kids they send to me, and I worked 5 different departments at CN, welding, heavy equipment, all kinds of stuff. These kids they send to me, they can't figure simple problems out. They play video games. I was going to tell human resources, ask them this one question. Do you
Mm-hmm.
play video games? And if they say yes, don't hire them. Don't. Because they don't go outside and figure things out.
Yeah.
But you say they're smartest. They're the smart. That makes me laugh.
That was no troubleshooting ability, says eBanQ in the comments. He's right. No troubleshooting abilities. Yeah, they
Yeah.
can't. Like the other day, I was helping some kid's car broke down. I can't remember what happened. Yeah, his radiator hose broke and it was leaking. And I'm like, okay, kid, do you have any electrical tape? We could tape this up and get you home at least, right? Then you could just take the 2 clamps off and change the hose. He's like, oh my god, you could do that without going to a garage. I'm like, uh, um, kid. So I had duct tape in the car. And I taped his hose and he put some warm water in there because his engine was already hot, and
Yeah.
and that's it. And he drove away. And I
Yeah.
told him, you can't put cold water in there, kid. He's like, oh, I'm gonna buy a bottle of water. No, you're not, because you're gonna crack the engine block. You could do that with cold water. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah. Or did you read somewhere that they were the smartest?
No, I read somewhere. I read somewhere, and I even brought it up on the show on trends in the housing market that they're the reason why the housing market is going crazy because they're buying all the properties.
The young millennials.
That's what I heard. I read in an article
But
that the millennials are buying everything up. It was under some article I was reading. Yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me
it
because
doesn't either.
prices are that the first time home buyers are.
Yeah, it doesn't either, man.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't make sense.
It's a bunch of
So
garbage.
yeah, I don't believe it.
Yeah, but
I talk to these guys. There's hundreds of them I work with. They're struggling to buy a house. I'm telling them, wait a year or two. Wait a year or two. You're going to get it for a lot cheaper.
yeah, well, you'll be ahead. Even if they
Yeah,
wait 3 4 years, they'll be ahead.
yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Anyways, just wanted to
what's new?
touch base with you and kind of talk about that.
Well, I got lots. I ramble, eh? So you got to kind of keep me at bay there.
So, okay,
I,
I'm reading this
I'm,
thing
I'm
here.
reading-
Generation X won't tell you. Okay, we're jaded about the American dream. That's true. Our kids have attitude issues.
you know what? 10 years, half the jobs are automated. Where are they going to work?
Well, they're going to work as an automated repairman.
Well, how many of those do you need?
3.
Three.
Woo!
Yeah. Well, I don't think, you know what? Millennials, I'm probably a lot sitting in your room right now listening. Like, I feel sorry for them. I
You
could
know,
throw a dart. I could throw a dart at a newspaper in 2007 and make money on the stock market. It was that easy. Day trading, just killing it.
yeah.
And then the '08 collapse hit me. I didn't see the housing collapse coming. I had my binders on. When you're too close to a market, you fail to see its folly. That's a Wall Street term.
Yeah.
Remember that. If people remember that, when you're too close to something, you fail to see its folly. That's a very important term. I failed to see that housing market. And then I started to read and study, and then I went down the rabbit hole and I never came out. And then I realized this whole world is just a big lie. Everything we do and walk and see every day is a lie. Then it just grabs you and you can never let go. Once you start to realize, you can't look away. Millennials are screwed. I hate to be blunt. They're screwed.
Yeah.
And anybody going to be retiring in the next 10 years is probably not going to get a pension. And if they do it, it's not going to buy you much.
Well, they won't have a they won't have a pension. They won't have
No pension, thing of the past.
yeah.
Like our pension payout at work hasn't changed since 1985. It's always been the same amount they pay us out. A pack of cigarettes in '85 was $2.
Mm.
The amount they pay us is the same, but a pack of smokes is like $20 now. I don't
Yeah.
smoke, but I use that as an analogy. Like that's just what it is. It's
Well, a
prices
can
of,
of Coke then was 25 cents in the machine.
yeah. Now it's like $1.25.
Yeah.
So it's hard to convey what I think about with the millennials. See, our generation, whatever. To tell you the truth, where I work, if you get fired before 55, they have to pay out your pension. That's probably the route that I'm going to go. Pay me out my pension. I'm not locking into a deflated pension.
Yeah, I think
I think,
you're better
yeah.
off investing that and probably making some good moves.
Well, the thing is, what are you invested in? I'm very scared of the markets. I do some company shares. That's it. Everything else, gold and silver, real estate. And good rental properties. That's where I stay. And some cash, but and a lot of antiques and collectibles. I've got a huge collection of that, but I stay hard assets as much as I can. I seen those stocks drop in 2008. Our stock at CN went from $90 to $45 in like a week and a half. You can't sell. That's a flash crash. There's no bid. You can't get out. Those days are coming back right away. Look what Ray Dalio said the other day. Bridgewater,
Yeah.
buy gold. You know,
Yep.
That's the last thing that a crazy person says. Buy gold. And that guy's one of the smartest investors in the world. He's telling you buy gold. What more do you need? What are millennials going to do who are just starting out? Going try and buy gold at $1,800 or 1,400 in the U.S., 1,450. That's a lot of money.
You know what? One thing millennials have to deal with is this media and all this garbage and global warming and crap. For me, I couldn't care less about it, but they're shoving this down their throats in their education. They're training them about global warming. And what global warming?
Yeah, you remember when you used to go for a family photo and you would try to get your kids to look over this way and they'd rattle those keys?
Yeah.
All that stuff you see on TV, that's them rattling the keys. They want you to look over that way.
Yeah.
Well, look over the other way and see what they're doing over there. They're taking oil tankers. They're trying to stir shit up in Iran. They're trying to do a soft coup in Venezuela. They're desperate. You can see they're desperate.
Well,
They're trying to get
with
resources.
the problem with Venezuela is they can't get the other guy to in power because he was anti-America too. The two guys running for the presidential election in Venezuela, Falcon and Maduro, they're both anti-American. So they get some guy that never ran in the election, not on the pollsters, wasn't even. They no one even knew who he was. After the election, they told him you won the election, and he's like, I never ran. It's like, well, you won. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I know for people that are blind that can't see this, there's a huge, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then there's also some bad things Maduro does too. I was reading in the paper there about some torture of some army personnel, people getting
Dude,
killed.
there's bad things Trudeau does.
Well, he's only around for so much longer, eh?
Yeah, he's gonna be gone in October, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
Are you gonna
yeah.
vote for him?
I voted for him the first time, not because I like him, because I wanted to see somebody bail out the Titanic with a soup can. That's pretty much why. I
Yeah.
knew he's economically clueless. I knew that. I watched the House of Commons meetings and they yell at him across the aisle, Mr. President, can you tell us why the Americans have a 3.9% unemployment rate and ours is an average of 7? Can you tell us, Mr. Prime Minister? He just sits there stupid when he should have said, that's because the Americans have changed the calculation on their unemployment. They only count people collecting EI. Where in Canada, we do a full statistical analysis of our unemployment because we're more of a true, correct
Yeah.
figure. I would have stood up and talked. He can't because he doesn't understand, right? He's just a drama teacher. So, snowboarder.
We should.
But whatever.
Is there any chance we can make him a drama teacher again?
Uh, maybe when he loses the next election, you'll see him shed a tear. I don't know.
I'm being sarcastic. I wanted to get a hat made. Make Trudeau a drama teacher again.
I got an email sent to me. It says, "Have you ever wondered how things got where they are?" And there's a picture of a car in a tree. There's a picture of a cow stuck in a fence, and there's a picture of Trudeau sitting at his office.
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered how things got where they are?
Yeah.
It
It's
was a
like,
good one.
yeah, how did he get there? What's he doing there? Why is he in an office? Is he running our
Yeah.
country?
No, he like Kevin O'Leary said on Kitco. Kevin O'Leary was on Kitco the other day. He said the worst prime minister we've ever had. He failed to put the proper people in position. He made a feel-good cabinet of a bunch of minorities, which is okay, but he picked the wrong people. You know, he just he thought he didn't pick the right people for the right positions, and our country's suffering now because of it.
Mm. Mm.
So,
Yeah, well, I'm hedging against this Iran thing. I've invested quite a bit in some of the big oil companies because you know what happens with the petrodollar, right?
I was in oil for a long time. There's an oil stock in Saskatchewan. I did 23,000 in one day on a penny stock on that, and I took it out and I put it in another oil stock and lost it all.
Woo!
Yeah, really. And when I asked, I called the company. I was talking to their promotions guy or whatever, and he said, "Well, there's many different mechanics to an oil company, different maneuvers that we don't quite understand." Yeah, right. You guys are all driving new BMWs, and I just lost my money. I trust none of them in Canada. There's no securities commission here. They caught 1,400 companies in the U.S. in 1 year frauding. In Canada, they caught one.
Well,
You
of
want to, you want like
course.
back in the day, you want to grow marijuana, get away with it, come to Canada. You want to
Yeah.
come here drunk driving, hit somebody, go to jail for 2 weekends, come to Canada.
Yeah.
You want to build a company, rip off your investors, come to Canada. Yeah, it's just a fraud. Not too many Canadian oil companies do I buy into. I don't trust them. They're just sucking their money out, and 70% of people lose their money on the stock market. You know,
Wow, that's a lot.
yeah. So unless you're a contrarian investor, be part of the 30%.
No, I hear you.
Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Mike.
Yeah.
I have no cryptocurrency. I have a hard wallet. I picked it up. Even when Bitcoin was just back there at 32, 3,300, I wanted to, but I just had too much on my plate. I wanted to load up at least 10 Bitcoin. I wanted to. I knew it. I know Bitcoin's going. You can see what's going to happen. The cryptos, EOS, there's a good one. I have some friends into it, like that are heavily into it. I watch them. I study them. I watch CoinMarketCap. I'm looking at them. You just know as this starts to fall and people are tired of these fiat currencies, they're going to flood.
Well, that's why gold is sitting at. What's gold sitting at? Did I check that there? I checked that there. Hold on. Gold was sitting at just
They
over
can dump
1426. We might see a $1,500 gold by Christmas.
1,500. Why? They're going to dump 10,000 tons of paper gold on the market. You're going to see 1,200 gold by Christmas.
Yeah, but those IOUs are they can't work forever. People are gonna start realizing there's more paper derivatives than there is physical.
I'm sitting with lots of it. I'm a silver and gold buff all the way. But you got to think logically. They make the rules. They have the COMEX. They write the contracts. They can flood it. Look when Trump got elected, gold went up 150. They dumped 8,000 metric tons on the market that next morning. It was down $50 from where it started the day before. They can do it anytime they want. They just flood the markets. Flood it and flood it. It's until that Deutsche Bank or something snaps, and it's going to be a scary time in the world. But then even our markets, are you going to be able to bid on gold? Well, the markets just freeze. They have circuit breakers for 5-10% ups and downs on the markets. We get a big snap like that. Deutsche Bank really looks like it's going to collapse here.
Yeah.
That was I just finished reading that story before I talked to you here. That Deutsche Bank's huge, and they're interconnected to all other banks. Their tentacles, like it said, go everywhere around the world. So that means they're all worried about it right now.
Well, like I said, it's all IOUs they're sitting on, right? Promises, and
but there's somebody on the other side of those bets. Somebody wants their money.
I know.
We can't take that kind of hit. If we do, and it starts to cave, and they can't stop it, banks are going to start shutting down. That's a scary time.
Okay, but do you remember in 2010 when people were demanding their gold back for physical gold from Deutsche Bank, and they're bringing in their gold certificates, and Deutsche Bank waved them off and told them to go home?
Well, they can pay them out in the amount of cash. They'll just settle it in cash. There's a clause there. They're not guaranteed their gold, but they're guaranteed the cash equivalent of the gold that they had.
But the problem a lot of people had was they bought the gold at 800 an ounce or 890 an ounce, and they want their gold now. They want the gold at what it's valued at now, and they're not even giving them cash. Raven.
What's musical chairs? I mean?
Huh?
It's a game of musical chairs. But it's a fraud. Their entire system is a fraud. Their ratio of what they've sold in paper to what they hold in the COMEX is, I think, like what 1 to 300 or 1 to 500 ounces of gold.
Silver is actually worse. Silver is the worst one. Silver is it's like 1,100 certificates for 1 ounce of silver.
Well, it's more rare above ground.
Yeah.
1 to 9 out of the ground, but what 1 to 92 in cost above ground? That makes no sense. That sounds like a fraud to me.
It does.
The CFTC does nothing to penalize these guys. And I think like GATA, the Gold Antitrust Association, Murphy and those guys, they could easily, if they were given access, could easily find what these guys are doing, but they can't. They're not. Nothing's actionable. That's what they said. We found nothing actionable. Doesn't mean that the CFTC didn't find things that were bad. It meant that they didn't find anything they were going to act on, probably because of out of for the country. It would be something that would be harmful to the country. If we do that, we'll collapse the banks. We
Yeah.
can't be actionable on it.
Yeah.
I fully don't trust any of them. None of them. I think it's all just a big lying game, and they're getting worse lies. They have to tell worse lies over and over and more, and they got to remember all their lies because they're lies. It's bad. Look at all their big BPs. Look, Prince William with Epstein, Trump, Clinton, all this stuff's coming out. They're falling apart. And they're trying to hold all these banks together. They got all these homeless people. They got all these drugs. They got the trade wars. Venezuela. They got rioting in Hong Kong. They got rioting in Puerto Rico, in Ecuador because of Julian Assange. They got rioting in Kazakhstan. There's riots all over the world. This shit is falling apart.
Well,
how much food
it's built. It's built like a house of cards, right?
And you say the millennials are going to have a good future?
I never said that.
Well, they're the smartest. They're kind of...
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're going to have a good future. They're the smartest of Western generations, of all the generations, from the boomers to the Gen X to the millennials. The millennials have the most education.
Sometimes I think maybe I see it too negatively.
I don't think they're going to be better off for having a better education.
I don't know. What's their education like? Like, what's it really going to do unless the wage growth kicks in? Wage growth is flat. Our prices are going to skyrocket. Meanwhile, wages are flat. Interest rates are coming back down. That's going to kill all these people retiring. What are they going to do? They're going to have to go for another job. They're going to retire and then go work at Walmart or somewhere. They're going to have to.
Yeah. Or do something. Become a greeter at Disneyland or something.
Pensions are collapsing. I'm watching it close because I'm expecting them to try and flip us from defined benefit to defined contribution here soon. The Canadian government's going to try and flip our company. We're one of the last ones that isn't a crown corporation that's still in that pension. It's the Cadillac. They're going to flip us out, though. I know it's coming. They've been talking about it. Pensions collapsing all over North America. Teamsters, all of them, taking 50, 60% pension cuts. They're going back to work. They're insolvent. And not even just them. The municipalities, Illinois, Powerball does not sell in Illinois anymore. New York, 200 billion shy on pensions. California is a disaster zone.
Oh, California, the homelessness is phenomenal. Just LA County is 47,000 homeless in LA County alone. San Francisco Bay Area, 24,000.
Yeah. The opioid, you know what I was reading today? They're taking wasp spray and using that as a substitute for meth. Can you believe that?
Why?
I don't know what they're doing with it. If they're smoking it or drinking it, or I don't know what they're doing. But I might have read that on Zero Hedge today. They're using wasp spray, like for bees, like wasps.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But like,
I don't know what they're doing with it, but it's a substitute for meth because they can't get meth. They're using wasp spray. You'll see it somewhere. It'll be out there.
Isn't it dangerous?
They say you can use it once or twice, but the third time it can kill you. It makes your hands, your feet swell up, all kinds of stuff. I was reading about it, but it's like the bath salt epidemic. When people...
I saw so many YouTube videos of that.
You run out of your drugs. What do you just go underneath the sink and start like, oh, I'm going to take this Dawn dish soap and see if I can smoke it. No, I can't. Okay, I'm going to take, anything and everything. Yeah. It's unbelievable. It is.
Woo!
It's unbelievable how crazy this world is going, and we're just letting it go there. I don't think we can stop it.
Did you ever watch that TV show Intervention?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what you're talking about. Kind of reminds me of those people.
Yeah, those people. Yeah, kind of. I think these guys are a little bit further off. Because invent intervention, they're on their drug. They're trying, they go through the pro. These people, they don't have their drug anymore. They're going to like, I don't know. I gotta actually look. What do I got underneath my sink? Okay, some spray nine, heavy duty stove cleaner here. I'll take some. Oh, WD-40.
Oh, your WD. Weren't they doing something with that back like maybe 5 years ago?
I'm not going to smoke the WD-40. I'm
No,
going to
no, no, no.
use it.
They use it to make crock.
Yeah, crock. That's about. Oh, Silvo for cleaning silver.
Yeah, Silvo's good.
What? Oh, the skull and cross fire beside it.
You have to dry that out and snort it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, look, I got some Brasso too. I could mix them together. Chase the dragon on some tinfoil with that.
Mm.
And some plumber's putty. We could smoke that too. That's
So
cheap.
Reach is saying on the comments, I hear meth guys drink vinegar when they're coming down and have no more meth.
I wouldn't know. I don't hang out with those guys.
Woo!
I went to a flea market today, and as I was driving downtown Winnipeg, there was a girl walked across the street in front of me, just normal brunette, and then she stopped and just started screaming at herself. And I looked over at these other people, and they're standing there looking at her. Right out to lunch, man. Super whacked out on drugs. It's like, holy shit. I couldn't believe how crazy that chick just snapped on a dime.
Uh-huh.
I saw that today. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just started yelling and throwing her fists in the air, just complete meltdown right in the middle of the daytime, right in front of a whole bunch of people.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens. Like for me, I live in a small town, so it's kind of a little bit different. The only different people we see are people passing through, and I know when someone's a passer througher. When someone walks in my store, I'm like, oh, where are you visiting from? Oh, I'm visiting from here or visiting from there. Or some people will say, how do you know I'm not from here? But the only people I see that's kind of whacked out was this past weekend, like not this one, but the weekend before. It was Bass Coast in Merritt, and it was like some music festival all weekend long, and it's all like techno music and stuff, right? And club music. And oh man, the street fights in downtown Merritt, and none of these people are from Merritt. It's just these millennials just street fighting and picking fights with people, and some guy tried to pick up a fight with an off-duty cop, and it was like people parking all these RVs on the streets, and all these kids sleeping in vans, and holy crap! Finally, Bass Coast left, and everybody left with it.
Didn't you have a guy sleeping behind your shop?
All the time.
Your other? Yeah.
Yeah, there's guys sleeping behind my shop all the time. They have huge parties back there, dude.
Charge them rent.
No, I wouldn't do that. I'm not like that. But I don't care. It's not my store anyway. I rent it. But I moved across the street. I'm living such a better life now across the street. Oh my god.
Yeah, it looks good. I saw your video there. It looks good.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a video compilation together from start to finish.
Nicely organized.
Yeah, it's the old drug den. They used to do smoke crack there like a lot across the street from my store.
Oh yeah, I watched that. You put out a lot of content. I watched quite a bit.
Yeah, the old drug den. So, and the city gave me a really tough time getting that place approved after I painted it clean, laid flooring, put in an air conditioner, like actually fixed that place as a respectable place in town. And the city's like, oh, we don't know if we want to approve this building. I made 2 phone calls, and guess what? The fire guy and the city inspector were there, approved it in 23 minutes.
Yeah. Well, your business, you guys are an asset to that town. I don't know why they aren't more accommodating for you guys.
They don't care. They don't want small business, and I think what I'm thinking, I'm just guessing this and I'm speculating that there's people on council and stuff, and what they want to do is keep that area of town down so they could buy it for chump change and then bring in the big companies and then resell it for a profit.
I don't think those people are that much on the ball, to tell you the truth.
Oh.
They're probably just lazy to deal with your issue.
Yeah, because I'm just moving my business across the street. I'm not even doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even. Yeah, maybe you're
You,
right.
you,
Yeah,
you watch Martin Armstrong on the videos there, Martin Armstrong, he'll tell you all day long, they're not smart people.
yeah.
So if he's talking about the people running the countries. You're talking about the people running Merit BC. I highly doubt that there are a bunch of sitting at that panel. You should run for office.
I did, and I dropped out right away. I did, and
Well, maybe do
I
it.
dropped right out. I had somebody come in my here. I'll even show you. It's this person here. I'll even show you. This person right here. I'm on the dirty, by the way. Mike Martin's is dirty, fat liar, fraud, and fake. And if you go down here, she actually wrote a. Where is it? Rosie is a mail order bride. Oh, here it is. Kathleen Belleneuve. She lives in my town, and she ran for city council too. She came into my store and called me a racist C and told me to drop out of the race. And you know what? We know what the funny thing is. Do you know what the funny thing is, Raven?
What's that?
I have it on film when she did it. And I'm actually holding on to it. I'm holding on to it. I have it. I showed it to a few people. I even showed it to some people on council. They looked at it and they're like,
You're dirty. That dirty thing. That's so like it's so easy. It's a soft one. Go
it's a
read
what?
some of them. Yours is very nice. They were very nice to you compared to the ones that you see on there.
Uh-huh.
Yours, you know why? Probably because they got nothing on you.
Well, what are they going to find on me? Like, oh, he's trying to get rich people to manipulate him. And, okay, so here it goes. This is what she wrote about me.
Like, you know what? I like the part where they go, he gets wealthy people to talk to, and then he gets them to donate money and stuff like that. Hey, I'm a wealthy guy. You never asked me what.
I didn't ask money for nobody.
And reading that dirty thing, I was like, I'm gonna donate this guy like $500 just because I read that dirty thing.
Oh no, you don't have to. You don't have to. Just what I ask is people to donate on Patreon $1 a month.
Yeah.
And if I could get 1,000 people, because you know what happened, Raven, I lost my monetization. I used to make about $1,700, $1,400, $2,000 a month.
Now you're down to 96. I watch your
under
video.
$100 right now. And that $2,000 a month was good. It helped with food, helped with a lot of things, right? And I lost it all for nothing. And that's it. So that's why I'm on Patreon. And if anyone could donate $1 a month, and if I could get enough people to do $1 a month, I put out a lot of content. You know, I put out
You got cameras in your shop?
I do.
You have lots of you got all that recorded, everything?
It's recording right now as we speak, my shop.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just curious.
So
that's what I do. I have cameras at my cottage. I have cameras here.
Yeah, I can see it on my phone.
Yeah, me too. Exactly, because I phone, eh?
Yeah, I can log into my phone and see it at any time. Okay, so this is what she wrote about me. This Kathleen Belleneuve. She says, "Let me tell you about this parasite. He drives around like Merritt like he's some big shot. Dude, Raven, I drive my wife's Chevy Spark, dude.
I watch your videos, Morning Coffee with Mike. Put some sugar in that coffee already.
Drives around like some big shot. No one likes him. He is banned from the Merritt Grapevine, a page where the town gossips and discuss town events and Google garage sales. No one likes him or his family. He's someone that cannot be trusted. I refuse to enter his shop, and so does my daughter. I hope he leaves on the horse he rode on in." But here's the problem. I banned her and her daughter from my store when she came in and started insulting me. And I have that on video.
She wrote that?
Yeah.
Where did she put that?
On the dirty. It's the fifth comment. Huh?
You believe that's her? Or okay, it's the comments underneath. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
And then Daryl, the other guy that owns the game grid in town, Mike is a scam artist. He came to Merritt to steal my ideas.
Hey, Mike,
Huh?
I've been a landlord for years. I have multiple properties. I've interviewed tenants. I've worked 30 years in the railroad industry in 5 departments, and I've hung out with all the people in Winnipeg that you could imagine. I can tell you, you're not one of those people. You're a very nice person with a nice family trying to do an honest business. I would stake everything on that. I can tell that. I know you a lot longer and more than most of those people that I met that were applying for tenancies. Is
Right.
you got to learn to read people. These people obviously are jealous of you. Like,
But
and the
jealous
person who
of
did,
what? I'm a small time YouTuber. I got a family. I own a house in the middle of nowhere.
why do you got 10,600 subscribers? Maybe they're jealous of that. Something's attracting those people. With me, it's your personality. You know, just a nice person. Everybody needs to know a nice person in their life. If you don't, then you could go find one on YouTube, and then you can watch that person go have their coffee in the morning.
Mm,
Watch that person do their videos, play with their kids, do their renovations, things that maybe you wanted to do, but you don't got time to do them. Maybe I never had kids. So,
mm,
and I see, you know, and you can live vicariously through other people. Maybe
true.
you have the whole package, and they're jealous of that. The person who wrote that dirty is listening to this video right now. He's sitting there. He's a sad person that has nothing. Feel sorry for him. Don't be mad at him
Well, I'm not
because
mad.
you have.
This is the best thing to happen to me. You know, every celebrity gets shamed somehow, somewhere, and most of the stuff that celebrities go through is fake. It's all garbage. It's all propaganda. It's only to sell papers and to sell advertising.
Yeah, no, you're a straight shooter. I'll tell you that. You have nothing to hide.
Nope. That's what, dude. If I had something to hide, would I be showing my face on YouTube 5 times a day?
No, and that's what kills those people. They hate that. They hate that because they can't do it. They can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just you know what? Feel sorry for them. Don't be mad at them.
Oh, I'm not
Love them.
mad. I'm not mad. I find it actually. I was telling some kid that there's a kid that comes to my shop. He's like 21 years old, and I treat him like my apprentice. Like, I don't know if you've watched Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai.
He was helping you move stuff and that. Yeah,
Yeah. So that
yeah.
kid's
I know. I
helping.
know.
He's
I
helping me.
watched that video.
Yeah, and
Where you
that kid's
explained it.
helping me out, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, kid, you should listen to more Guns N' Roses, and he's like, what's Guns N' Roses? Just like friggin' Cobra Kai, like they said in the TV show. I'm like, holy crap, this kid, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
and I'm showing him things and teaching him things and kind of getting to understand his 21-year-old generation that he's in right now,
yeah.
and
Well, you're helping. Being a role model for him.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And he looks up to me, and I make sure, I don't, I'm a good guy, and I make sure, I have other comments on here, man. Oh man, this guy with the other games, Mike is a scam artist. He came to marriage to steal my ideas. He has no idea how to run a business and needs training and respect. I really hope he gets what's coming to him. He always talks about investing, but in his disclaimer on his videos, do not take his advice. He is a fake, a thief, and a coward, and a pitiful businessman. He scams his customers and while even betrays his own mother. He has a mail order bride and sucks on welfare every chance he gets.
Okay.
Woo!
Yeah, that's just, you know what? When he says that, it tells us a lot about him. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just looking at a mirror when he says that.
Yeah. So I just wanted
And
to
you
throw.
don't do it back to him. You don't go and put, malicious, dirty things out there.
Nope.
You're the better man. So
Nope.
that's it. That's the way I was raised. You're the better man. Just walk away.
Yep. He wrote so many bad reviews about my store on Google Maps. And with that same account that he wrote 5-star reviews on his store. Have you seen the Merit Harassment series, Raven?
No, I don't think I saw that one.
Okay, if you go to my channel, I'm on it right now. Okay, you go to playlists.
Yeah.
Okay, you go down to playlists, and then you go to Merit Harassment. It's right here. It's 20 videos long, and all of them are in a specific order you need to watch from 1 to 20. And everything starts to unravel as I continue from the beginning right to the end. It's almost like To Catch a Thief or To Catch a Vandal. There's always a fake persona that we have to detect and find out who it is.
Is it as good as Game of Thrones? Those 20 episodes?
No way, man. This is just me. Look, I'm gonna play it. Since the first episode, I'm shutting down my store. This is before, right? I'm shutting down my store because he's been harassing me. He won't leave me alone. And then episode 2, is merit harassment. Do not open a business in merits, and I go over the stuff. Number 3, shutting down the business. This was about a year ago, right? And then number
Yeah.
4, cyber gangsters. Cyber gangsters is boring, but number 5 is the best. Who is Murray Gilroy? Who is Murray Gilroy? That is the best episode. Is part 5. That is amazing. And then number 6, who is Alfred? Merit harassment series. And it's amazing. You gotta watch, guys. Watching this right now live, Raven, watch the merit harassment series. I'm gonna put a link in the comments there to watch it right from the beginning. I need you guys to watch this from the beginning and watch every episode. You will like this series a lot. Every episode's about 7 to 8 minutes, but it's really well done. It's not like I have facts. I'm not just speaking out of my butt. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you read a lot of articles, man. I'll give you that. I read a lot too, but I watch. You put out a lot of content. You've got to have a lot of different knowledges of this whole world. Like, pick a topic in any country, right? There's so. You read articles all day in that shop, I'm sure. You're reading and reading and reading and reading.
Yeah, I'm
Most
always
people
looking
don't.
for what's good to tell people about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always talking about what's good for people, what people should look out for in their area, especially for the housing too, right?
Well, I know I don't really tune in too much on the housing, but I'm curious, what do you think the housing in Canada is going to be in a year or two?
Oh, in a year, it's going to be a lot of empty cities.
What about 2 years?
I don't know. 2 years is too far down the road because it's so damaged right now. It's beyond repair. First-time homebuyer loans, interest-only loans, all the garbage that they put into the market, all the bad debt that they put on the banks, all the falsification of incomes and falsification of all this stuff that they did just to get these loans approved by the banks. It's not looking good, Raven. It's so damaging right now. It's going to keep going down. It's going to continue going down, and the government's going to do everything in its power to make it a soft landing. And you're going to see housing go back to 2003 numbers, 2002.
You think that's it, eh?
It has to. Because until people could get in and afford to buy and secure financing, nothing's going to sell. Once you can't get first-time home buyers in the market's dead. It's got no fresh blood.
And everybody's retiring. Yeah, baby boomers.
It's it. It's over. It's over. It's a long con. It's one of the longest cons we played. Is this housing slash Ponzi scheme market is one of the biggest long cons we've ever done in human history.
It's the 75th anniversary of Bretton Woods in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
The Bretton Woods Agreement to put everybody on the gold standard in 1944.
Yep.
July 23rd in Bretton Woods there. Yeah, that's in 2 days, 75th anniversary. Yeah, it's all a big scam, Ponzi scheme, the whole thing.
Yep.
The minute that they took us off that gold standard, they made our currency debt.
Well, they had to take us off the gold standard. Do you know why?
Yeah, they spent too much money in Vietnam, and their entitlement
wars.
We're starting to push them.
Wars are too expensive. There's no way to have a gold-backed dollar and go to war. You can't do it. It won't work. It'll be too expensive to go to war.
He interrupted an episode of Bonanza.
Who, me?
The most popular TV show. No, Nixon.
Oh.
When he took us off the gold standard.
Yeah.
He in the middle of a show of Bonanza. Remember that show?
Yep. I saw it the other day, actually, with my dad.
Yeah, Bonanza, yeah. So, and now, Trump, they're going to lower interest rates on the 31st. They're trying to get ahead of this economy rolling over.
Yeah.
So if they lower a quarter, which might not be enough, I think they might even do 50, but they'll probably do a quarter. He's going to use up that last 2% to get him to the election, create a false wealth effect for everybody. Houses, stocks. Well, it's a great time to be in stocks right now.
Yep, I'm in stocks right now. I'm in stocks right now. I know. I'm playing the angle. I'm hedging. Am I a bad person for hedging? I don't think so.
Well, it depends how you're hedging. I'm hedging, but I ain't in stocks.
Oh, okay.
You know, silver's hedging.
I have silver. I got silver bars. It's not like I don't have silver. I have silver. I have gold. It's not like I don't have those. I'm talking about like I'm diverse, right? But I don't have any Bitcoin though, right?
That's the name. And what about John McAfee? He made a bet that he would eat his manhood if Bitcoin doesn't hit $1 million.
Oh, don't be silly. You know that he's not gonna do that.
What's he going to do?
I don't know what he's gonna do, but I could tell you right now that he's not gonna be doing what he said he's gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, why would you make that bet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, buddy. Thanks for the hour-long discussion.
I took you way out there and way back.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's always fun having you on the show.
Can I have 30 seconds?
Go ahead. Go.
Interest rates are going to go back to zero in the U.S. Canada, later in the year, may do 0.25%. Next year, they're going to. Trump and those guys are going to print money next year. They're going to have to do a QE. But don't worry about that because they never stopped QE. They've been printing 50 to 100 billion out the back door every single month since this started.
Yeah.
Not to mention the 21 trillion that's missing from the Fed that James Rickert says is just an accounting error. That's not right. They're going to run all their monetary stimulus down into the ground. They got nothing. They're going to have nothing left. But remember, while they're doing that, Europe, Japan, they're going to show up to the fight, but they're not going to be throwing any punches because they got no punches to throw. They got no interest rates. They're just going to take the punches. They got nothing. They got no ammo.
Well, it's a fight to the knife. Well, it's a fight to the knife right now. They're out of guns. They're out of bombs. They're out of everything. Now it's just a fight to the knife.
Well, they got nothing. Europe, Draghi, they got nothing. They're negative. They got nothing to throw at it. What are they going to do? Keep buying more equities? They got nothing. This is going to get interesting. It's going to take a year or two, but this is going to get interesting. I see at the end of 2 years, your house market's at least 50% cut. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Put them 50%.
Oh yeah, I see. Like I say, I'm going back to 2002 levels myself. So.
Yeah. Was that 50% right now?
I think it's 53%.
Yeah, a little over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I won't take any more of your time, Mike. Sorry. That's
fine, dude. Call anytime, buddy. I always like talking to you, so it doesn't. Yeah, no. I like talking to you.
The rumbler on there.
All right, you have a good day, night. I think it's 8:30, 9:30, 10. It's 11:30 there. Get some sleep.
10:30. I'm going to work in 4 hours.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm training engineers right now. I'm just new guys, the new engineers. I'm training them how to drive.
Okay.
For the next. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that's the Raven there. He is a Generation Xer like myself. Guys, I'm doing my show. I'm trying to get my kids to calm down. I don't mind my kids being around. I love my kids, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so guys, let's do a quick plug here, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. They're trying really hard. What happened was the last time I was on, somebody's watching my show, know when I'm on, and actually come on and flag it. And every time it keeps getting flagged, guess what happens? It gets
Where's your fucking ball? Where's your fucking balls? Where's your fucking balls?
Oops. That's Joe Pesci there. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to. I got a soundboard open, and I did not mean to. I know there's a lot of young people watching this show, and I don't mean to do that. I didn't mean to. Yeah, play that. Sorry.
I'm a lawyer.
That's Joe Pesci there from My Cousin Vinny. Okay, guys, let's get some plugs here. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We got part 1 of this show right now is going to be, I'm going to put it up part 1 very soon. Part 1 of the show will be up very soon of this. We're going to have 2 parts. I went down again, and I went right back up. And there's 2 parts to this show tonight. And don't forget to find me on Subscribestar. Don't forget to get off Facebook and get on Minds.com. I got 84 people following me there on there. Don't forget to support me on Patreon by buying me a coffee. I'm 4% my goal complete, and you could join and you could become you could buy me a coffee for $1 a month. You could be a Caporogamies, means a captain, for $5 a month, and for $10 a month you could be a consigliere, And for $25 a month, you could be an underboss. And I have it set up in a way where it's kind of like a mafia style thing. Check it out. I got the link at the bottom here in the description, and I have it on top of my channel. And you could go ahead and send me a tip on PayPal. And don't forget to check me out on The Dirty. Get your comments in there, guys, on The Dirty. Leave a comment. Come on, guys. I need you guys to support me here. And help me out there. All right, so let's move on. Let's get Supreme Cannon on if he's available to see what he has to say about the whole Generation X and Generation and the Millennials and the Boomers and the Lost Generation and what's happening. Let's see if he's on. I'm not sure. I see him in the comments. See if I can get him on here.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, dog?
Oh, this and that, you know.
Oh, I'm suffering from hay fever here.
Oh, well, don't do that.
Well, no, I cut the grass this morning, and my rails have been running for no reason.
Oh, okay.
All right, so before we kick it off, are you a Boomer, Generation Xer, or are you a Millennial?
Well, I was born in '65, so I would say I'm a Gen Xer. I definitely have more of a Gen X mindset, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, tell us a bit about each department. Let's start with Millennials. Do they have a pot to piss in? What's going on with Millennials?
Millennials have a lot of potential. I would never write them off. They're not dumb. They're badly misinformed. Okay.
That's the problem.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, and that's in some ways that's worse than being wrong, right? But you know, like get 3 right guys here. He's exactly half my age. He's pretty savvy. I know quite a few guys like that. I even know quite a few millennial girls like that. The idea that they're all, you know, hollow-eyed, you know, carousel riders is the term or whatever. No, I don't quite buy it. Yeah, there's a lot of there are a lot of things that we took for granted growing up that they can't relate to. So whereas Gen Xers are concerned, I see us as kind of the bridge. You know, we watched the old world melt down and we watched the new world come in and we didn't like it, couldn't do much about it. But, you know, we dug in, and I'll be honest with you, I see a lot of millennial kids that, well, a lot of them aren't kids anymore. No, they really aren't happy with the way things are, and they don't really accept this new paradigm that we've all been kind of stuck with for a long time. And the fact is, it's not sustainable. So it's going to change. The ones that live in the cities, okay, like the ones with dreadlocks and the vegan and they're into this and into that and the other thing, okay, yeah, they're gonna have some trouble adjusting, but they will. They'll adjust. The ones that live out here, they all work with their hands. They're all working in the woods or they're working in the bakeries or doing whatever. They're not dummies.
All right, so what about the Generation Xers, the guys like us, where we see what's happening with the Millennials, and we see what's happening with the Boomers. We had the good taste of the good life in the '80s.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about the Gen Xers?
Well, if you think about Gen X as the entire group, I mean, by the time you got into the early '90s, the ones that were coming of age in the '90s, you know, you could see the change in the music, right? You went from a flock of seagulls, right, in 10 years, you know, just this completely bizarre stuff to grunge, right, to Nirvana and Soundgarden and stuff like that. I'm using music because it's kind of the soundtrack of every generation anyway, right? But it was apathy, and it was hopeless, and it was despair, and a lot of it was anger and frustration because we were trying to figure out why the hell our parents weren't doing what their parents did for them. You know, like that World War II generation. I'm a little shy of calling them the greatest generation, okay? But, you know, like they sacrificed for their kids, and they sacrificed, you know, to build the prosperity that we have now. They were actually building wealth, as you've described it many times, Mike. And they were sensible that way. And Gen X, I think in many ways we kind of want to live what the boomers got to live, because let's face it, they got the fat part of the cherry there, right? Like they had that stodgy kind of, yeah, okay, Sativa, you have dreads, cool. No worries. That's okay. It's a fashion statement. Um, it's uh, but but in the '60s, and I'll get right into Gen X. But I mean that's where we came out of. I came smack out. I was born into the mid '60s. I saw, um, I saw the assumption at that point where civilization was something that um, it's something you have to participate in. It doesn't just happen. And the boomers kind of, like they had everything, the whole apparatus was handed to them and say, there you go, you drive. And they just kind of assumed that everything happened. And that's why they haven't really taken the time to think about their own children, and their grandchildren. And they really, generally speaking, they don't. They just kind of assume things are just going to go on the way they have. And the bill's coming due. Gen X, we paid the bill, right? Like we were born up. By the time we came of age, we were smack into the divorce economy, into the family breakdown economy. We were the first latchkey kids, right? We were the original. They called us slackers and everything else, but it was just simply, well, I don't really, you did all this work and you worked all these hours, but you made big money from it and you prospered mightily, and we're doing the same thing. We're not getting anywhere. And you're just telling us that you got to work harder. Well, it's like, well, no, we got to be better compensated for it. Also, that was the time I was born, the exact year that North America started changing the immigration laws and letting more and more and more people in. Carl Jung, by 2030, 80 million Americans will be retired. If there's money. If there's no money, no, they'll still be working. They might be 75 and bagging groceries at Walmart, but they'll be working.
They have no choice. There's something needs to be done. Yeah, so there's no way. There's no way. There's something needs to. Yeah, something's going to come of it.
Yeah, they're going to have to print. They'll have to print money. I mean, those checks will clear, but they're not going to buy much.
Right.
And there's only so much manipulation of markets you can do to keep prices down, and then you get to the point where socialism. Socialism always results in shortages. Right, we've been kind of lucky in that regard. I mean, most of the basics of life haven't been wildly overpriced, but I can even say from the time I turned, say, 35, at the turn of the millennium, houses have doubled and tripled, and some places quadrupled in price even from then. So we've definitely experienced. We've seen it all, Mike. We've seen the whole sweep of history. We're the ones that had to explain digital to our parents, and we're trying to explain analog to our kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember digital when digital came out. Hey, you, the Rocksteady crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, and anyway, where Gen X is concerned, we're kind of in the trough between these two waves, and our generation isn't that smaller than the ones that we're between, but. Small enough that it does seem like we haven't had the kind of influence that who's courting us, right? Even Bernie Sanders, you get this 80-year-old fart, trying to get the millennial vote to bring in socialism, right? And then you got all these old boomers that might have been socialists in their early 20s, right? But when they realized that collectivism was cramping their style, well, they all just went to work for a big corporation and just voted Democrat to or liberal to assuage their guilty conscience for not being good comrades, I think. And they went on and did their thing. But this consumerist paradigm is dying. It's gonna anyway. We've topped the roller coaster. There's just no, we're losing the appetite for it. If millennials don't have the appetite, and they simply don't have the financial means to continue, 5, 6, 7% growth of consumption forever, well, then guess what? We're there. It's going downhill.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Sorry, I have to turn my daughter's tablet off. She's playing music, and it's gonna flag the show.
Oh yeah, no problem.
People talking about wars and stuff. Yeah, a lot of these generations went through a lot of wars, and our generation went through the most war, I think, to be honest with you.
There was always something going on, yeah. Well, plus when we were born, there was still a Cold War going on.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
And that was part of it too. It's like, well, why think about the future if we're all just going to get nuked? I remember when I was 19 or 20, there was a lot of pop music that was still obsessing about how, and I think a lot of it was how Reagan was bringing us to the brink of war. It was very it was very pro-socialism and very anti-conservative, all of that stuff, right? So it was like, well, if we stand up to the Russians, then they're bringing us to the brink of war. And no, he did the right thing. He stared them down. He forced them to overspend, and it collapsed the Soviet Union. Nobody saw that coming.
Well, yeah, but it was headed for that way. It had no choice.
Oh, it wasn't going to work anyway. It hadn't worked for a long time.
Yeah.
Vincent
But
LaGuardia.
Carl Young, boomers will waste Gen X inheritance. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. So we're on our own there. We have to build our own wealth. We cannot count on an inheritance. The boomer thing, the 50s and 60s is a one and done. It's not coming back. And I'll be honest with you, I hope it doesn't, because the reason we had the 50s was because we had the 30s and the 40s. Right. I'm quite fine if that doesn't happen again. Mm-hmm. It'll be history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. The future, millennials, Generation Z, and into the future, they will live simply. But the idea that they won't have any wealth, any glory, any great deeds of heroism of their own to aspire to is not true. History is not static. You'll have opportunities. It's just right now, yeah, we're dealing at the end of this miasma, this apathy, I think, was the disease of our generation, as the old song put it, right? But apathy was just an emotion that we affected to fight off despair.
Didn't the Bee Gees make a song like that?
About apathy?
Yeah.
They might have. I've seen it a couple of times.
It's just emotion that's taking me over.
Oh, yeah.
Tied up in sorrow, locked in my soul.
Sure, yeah. Well, the 70s, of course, that was the me generation. Well, narcissism is not a healthy thing to cultivate, right? And they still kind of live that way. Well, we're going to do it this way and going to do that. And it's not, no, it's not hopeless. There's going to be a massive destruction of wealth. There's going to be a massive transfer and redistribution of wealth. And a lot of it is going to be involuntary. And the idea that it's all going to be controlled by a bunch of people at the top is not completely true. I mean, if it was true that there was some cabal that was getting into all these wars and everything, you look at the wealth disparity from, say, 1950 up till 1970, 1975. The lower and middle classes, their money would buy a lot more. It wasn't just that prices were lower. Your money would buy so much more.
Well, because buying power was better, right?
Buying power was better. So any kind of crash, if you actually have any money, your buying power is gonna skyrocket. You'll be shocked. But most people will not be prepared. They're going to be like they are, up to their forehead in debt, because they assume that that's just how it is and that's how you live. And that's been conditioned into a lot of people for a long time. Yeah, Three Right says that millennials refuse to buy into this shite market, so it'll go down because of self-fulfilling prophecy. I won't finish the rest of it. You go with that, man. But yeah, it's change is coming, and it has to come. What we have now is not working. It's not working for people, right? Like you can't have a natural life anymore. It's not boy meets girl and and they get married and have 2.3 kids and like people have been doing for thousands of years. They're making it impossible for that to do that just to keep quarterly earnings up. That's not good enough. That is not good enough. So no, it's as long as people, like you'll get to the point where they simply won't have the money to continue. Well, that's not all bad news. It's got to change. It's got to stop.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Raven, you're right. It can't work. It's not a free market. Yeah. But it never was. It was never a free market. Think about the people in the beginning of the 20th century, who were getting paid with company scrip, right? Mm-hmm. You'd work in a coal mine, or you'd work in a lumber camp, or you'd work on a ranch somewhere, and you'd get paid with this company receipt that you could go and buy stuff at the company store at a 20% markup, right? Like you could never get ahead in a system like that. We're actually in many ways still freer than they were back then.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, it's like it's give and take. We've got a lot of freedoms today, and frankly, more than most people are capable of handling. I'm sad to say. We might have to have a little more authoritarianism. I mean, they call any kind of conservatism authoritarianism, Mike, but the fact is, what do you call communism? You literally force everybody to work for everybody else, whether you like them or not.
Marxism.
Marxism, yeah. Yeah, so it's nobody's interested in that. They think they are, but up until it's cool to be edgy and wear your Che Guevara shirt and beret around and talk like you're some kind of revolutionary. No, they're just right. Yeah, but they're just pussies. And anyway, if anybody showed them the last picture of Che Guevara ever taken, they'd probably think twice about it.
Yeah.
Because if I had my way, there'd be a lot more. I have no interest in that stuff. Yeah. Timothy Mack, you're 22. You have some hard assets, silver. Good man. Yeah. Think about the future, guys. Think about the future. You have one. The world is not going to burn up. It's not going to freeze. We're not going to run out of oil anytime soon. We're not going to eat maggot sausages and cricket burgers. It ain't happening. It's not happening. People will not take it. They're already fighting back. Look at Hong Kong. I mean, did the Chinese send a bunch of tanks in like Tiananmen Square? No, they actually had to send thugs in to start beating on people, and it's all being broadcast on cell phones. Like this stuff is not working. It's not working. And that's the thing about a place like China. We talked about the social credit system, the cameras everywhere and everything else.
Yeah, we talked about that like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and we talked about it a few months ago as well. It does come back around, and it is relevant. But the thing about surveillance like that is like we were also saying at the time, most of those big Chinese cities are brand new, and you got people coming in from Podunk or the Chinese equivalent of Podunk, and they are just literally hayseeds. Like they're just they're dirty, they're unconcerned about basic hygiene or anything like that. It's not going to like they have to do something. So that's actually one of the least obtrusive ways of doing it. In that case, they're not real big on freedom anyway. So it's not like here, as Anglo-Saxon heritage, Magna Carta, that kind of thing. We don't like to be told what to do.
I get it where you're coming from.
Yeah, collectivism doesn't really take here very well because we're kind of the thing about rugged individualism and that idea. Most people, no, they're still a mob. They're still NPCs. They don't really think. So,
guys, can you stop fighting in the comment section, please?
Yeah, Miami,
Lord, what's
Dallas.
going on there?
Guys, can you stop fighting in the comment section, please?
We're getting so anyway, to just come back around to the generations here, we came out of an older paradigm, Mike, something that was already getting control, right?
Right.
That was starting to morph into something else, or it had gone in a wrong direction, and then it went too far.
Well, we weren't technologically sound back in the day, so they would have done this long time ago.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the thing. People would accept what authorities told them. People would accept that. Well, we need to do this. There's a good reason for this, or a good reason for that. It looks like you got a stream offline screen here, but it sounds like Skype's still working anyway. Okay, there you are. But this is the thing. I mean, the things that you could tell people in the early 20th century, right? People would accept it, right? And in the 30s and the 40s, they would accept it. The 50s and 60s, they'd accept it. Right. Into the 2000s, the number of times that people have been cleaned out by a crash, or have been, are seeing their aspirations for that prosperous life that their parents and their grandparents had get further and further and further away from them. And no one's doing anything about it, and they won't even listen to them or understand their problems, let alone doing anything about it. Well, in a case like that, there is no reason to believe them anymore. They forgot that they won for so long that they forgot that they need us to trust them. They just thought, okay, well, we'll just tell them whatever, and we'll just keep doing whatever, or we'll lie and say we're doing one thing and do the other. The thing is, if someone is playing a shell game with you and they keep winning, sooner or later, you're not going to play, or you're going to realize that you're getting screwed.
Right.
Right. And then after that, it's like, okay, well, I may not be able to, defeat this on my own, but I don't have to play. I don't have to participate. I don't have to buy into this. When they say do one thing, I'll do the opposite. And you're seeing that. You saw it with Brexit. You saw it with what's happening in Hong Kong right now. You saw it in the States.
Right.
You see all of these things, and it might be one elite trying to get in front of a different parade, right? And start another thing, because elites fight among themselves too, of course. So, but elites are always there. They're always doing their thing. It still comes down to, what do we do down here in the trenches? Right. And all of us, once we, got over the age of 40, you can look back on your life and see where, if you had done a few things differently, you would be in a far better position than you are. I can certainly.
You could also be in a huge poop storm if you didn't do some of the things you did do.
Well, absolutely, and that's the thing about. There's no substitute, no matter how smart you are. It's that extra 20, 30 trips around the sun where you get that. You can start to look back in your life, and you can start to see the cycles. You can see the up and down. Patterns, exactly right. And then you can realize, okay, well, the time to go surfing is when the surf is up. When there's no wind blowing, stay home and wax the board, man. You're wasting time. When the waves are out there and it's looking shaky, well, that's the time that you want to be ready to get out there and catch that wave, baby.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to hear. I need you to come into the show last, because I saw you come into the comments last. So the timing was perfect to have you on tonight. So what do you think of this dirty thing? I think this is awesome.
Oh God, it's ridiculous. It's just absolutely foolish. How many comments are on there now? There look like 10 pages of them. And some of them are just unpunctuated. And
15 comments.
Yeah, 15 comments. And half of them are just completely unpunctuated. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what that's all about. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'd ever heard of the dirty till you brought it up. So I think exactly 0.01% of people in Canada would ever see this. So it isn't something to worry about. It's awesome. And if they put their names to it, well then, there you go. They've shone a big spotlight on themselves, haven't they?
Yeah, I don't know why the people are doing that, but that's okay. You know what? I think it just comes around and bites them in the butt, if you ask me.
Well, I think there's like the concept of karma. I think it gets to be. I think it's just that something's become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If this is the only answer they have to either business competition or whatever terrible thing it is that they say that you did, if they don't have any other answers to that, well, we know from 50 years of dealing with social justice warriors that you won the debate when they start calling you names.
Yeah.
Personal attacks, ad hominems mean, you already won. Yeah. They're just like that old teacher on Charlie Brown, right? You just
whatever.
Exactly, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Where Gen X is concerned, I'll wrap up because we're Gen X here, and I won't go on too much longer. I think that we will have a chance to actually be in charge for a little while. I don't think it will last long. But I think there will be a window where we'll have a chance to influence things, and then it'll be a question of, okay, well, what influence are we going to bring? Mm-hmm. We can't really fight our parents, right? They got all that money from the grandparents, and they're spending it as fast as they can. That's just something that didn't happen for us.
Yeah.
I know Gen Xers that done very well for themselves, but I also know lots like me who were divorced and wiped out and had to start over, right? That 20 extra years of compound
interest. I'm lucky. I was divorced and wiped out. I didn't have kids with her, and I divorced young still.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, my situation when we finally split the sheets, I was like 46, and then I still had a few years to pay. So it was a long struggle to get out of that and get myself debt free and building again, and I'm at a dead run to get caught up. Not just for me and for my future, but also because I have kids out there, Mike. I still want to be in a position I hate being powerless. That was the worst part of being married and losing everything and having a business go down on me is just your power, your freedom of action as an independent person and just as a man and a father it's just so emasculating. It just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I just will not tolerate it. I won't have it.
Listen up. My name is PC Principal.
So it's a struggle, but I don't mind, because that's the thing too about being older is when you have the experience and you know what not to do about a lot of things, you make a lot fewer mistakes. You can make a plan, and it'll work, and you don't have to make a whole lot of changes to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a son and daughter out there. They're grown, and I want them to be able to own a home someday. I give them the best advice I can, and most of my advice is wait, save money. You need this 40 years for a down payment or whatever. Well, yeah, that's today. It won't be that way tomorrow.
No, that's right.
It's not going to continue. It's not sustainable.
It can't. It's not sustainable.
No.
We brought it up on the show a quadrillion times. It's not sustainable. It can't work.
Yeah. And if they manage somehow to levitate it, they're going to be doing it more and more at the expense of the young.
Mm-hmm.
And the young they want to get going on their life too. And they're being constantly delayed and constantly delayed. They're not going to tolerate it forever. I mean, we're not to the point where we have mobs in the streets burning cars and smashing bank windows yet. But if they don't smarten up, it's coming.
Right.
Because it's ridiculous.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is disgusting. It's complacency. It's not evil. It's complacency. Boomers, I mean, their whole life is, oh well, shit happens, man, right? And things will just work out. It'll be okay, because that was their life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they had their parents who, they went to school and they were learning how to take cover under desks in case of a nuclear strike, and stuff kept not happening, especially in Canada where they weren't getting drafted for the war. And you just basically had, you had economic downfalls and stuff like that, setbacks, but for the most part, people did okay. Things kept growing over time, and our generation and then the generation after that's more and more and more people behind them getting into housing and buying food and buying the basics of life and things like that. And they're, so they just had a bigger and bigger and bigger market to sell to as they got older, but they were keeping all the cheese for themselves, and they were not thinking about, okay, well, my kids might want to make a living wage and have a family.
Yeah.
Right? Or, they're you've got daughters and they get educated and they go out and have careers, and now they're 45, 50, and I should have got married, It's like, well,
a lot of girls are living in regret right now.
Yeah, they are. And it's terrible. It's terrible. It's not a cause of schadenfreude. They got sold a bill of goods just like most guys did. Right? You can have it all. Well, yeah, you can have it all, but Mother Nature dictates you got to do it in a certain sequence. And if you don't meet that sequence, then you're going to miss the train. And, when everyone's 19, 20, think they're going to live forever, they got all the time in the world because you're young, right? But then you get a little bit older and then you get busy. Then you're competing and you've got this whole society that
Stream went down.
I see that. Yeah, I see an offline here. I'm still talking to you. It sounds like people can still hear us.
It's streaming at 0 kilobytes. It's offline and completely.
Oh dear.
There it goes. It's kind of resuscitating, I guess.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, you come back up again.
Yeah.
These things happen. I mean, the Great Depression, marriage rates dropped off a cliff because everyone was broke. And at that time, I remember seeing a couple of articles from those days. They had some pretty harsh alimony laws in those days. There were a lot of guys that weren't going to get married because of the alimony.
Well, MGTOW is big right now. Men going their own way is a huge thing.
Yeah, I saw there was a guy named George Bruno. He's not a MGTOW, but he actually had an article from 1909 about bachelor life.
Mm-hmm.
And they it was at that time. And actually, I've even seen things. It was written around the time that the age of chivalry began. There was a scholar who wrote at that time, a nobleman. He wrote about most of what they call romantic love and chivalry was a crock. And if you understood it, you wouldn't get involved in it.
Right.
But things like that they weren't common. They weren't widely distributed. The internet has caused, this information to disseminate. The thing about alternative lifestyles, right? And this has been a big thing for the last 40, 50 years. It's affected all three generations. Is the reason that lifestyles existed the way they did in the past was because they more or less followed the pattern of our lives. The cycles of life: youth, adulthood, family, getting into the geriatric, the older ages, and making sure that the elderly were looking after. The social contract. It was always unspoken. It was just understood.
All right, listen up.
That way, and then when they say, well, we're not doing that anymore, forget it. I'm not going to be beholden to that. Well, that sounds real good until the government can't pay your pensions.
Right.
Or can't pay your, or the money is so devalued that you can't buy anything. Right.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're going to do. They're just going to devalue the currency. There's no way of them. They're just going to raise minimum wage and devalue the currency. And you think you're making more, but you're not getting ahead.
Yeah, and they'll throw more people out of work. The thing about automation is I don't know. I think it's overblown. There were a lot of repetitive jobs that, robotics will replace it. But if people aren't making wages, no one's going to buy anything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If no one has any money, you're not going to buy anything. A basic income is just going to be printing money out of thin air without people producing anything for it. And that money isn't going to buy anything.
Right.
So
right.
It's not going to work. It isn't working. It's collapsing.
It is.
Oh,
okay, it's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock.
Okay, buddy.
I'm falling asleep.
And
don't do that. What we're gonna do is we pretty much covered all of the 3 different gens here. We went over Gen X, baby boomers, and the millennials, and we had some good. We had Raven on the show earlier today, and we had 3 right guys in the first part of the show. So if you're watching this, guys, you're watching the second part. I'm gonna have to fix that tomorrow when it's uploaded.
Yeah.
And anyways, look, I'm tired. I'm just starting to get tired. I'm gonna go put my daughter to sleep now, and I'm gonna go check on my dad and see how he's doing. And
yes, by all
keeping
means,
him as comfortable as possible and making him happy.
Oh, good. Yeah, I just checked in like half hour, 45 minutes ago. I didn't realize you were streaming tonight. It looks like everything worked right through this time, so that's good.
Well, I got cut off halfway on my first hour.
Oh, awesome.
So I've been on for an hour and 2 hours and 26 minutes now.
Oh, that explains it then, because I logged on and it was closer to 8 o'clock and it said you'd only been streaming for 30 minutes.
No, there's a whole first part out there.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I'll check it out later. I only caught half of what Raven said, and I didn't hear what Leaf had to say at all. So
it's on the first part. Go check it out.
Sure thing. I will do that.
Thank you so much. We'll keep in touch. Okay.
Great to chat. God bless everyone, and we'll talk soon, Mike.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So guys, this is the second part of the show. So there's a first part out there. It's already up and running. I'll show it to you where it looks like. So we covered all the boomer stuff. So it's right here go under my videos, and it should be right here. There it is. 58 minutes, not the 4-second one. Let me see if I can't delete it. These losers. They won't let me delete nothing. Yeah, so there it is. Look, it's the 58-minute one. I'm going to actually tag it as part 1. And then this is, right now we're watching part 2. So if people want to watch both parts, they're more than welcome to. And if they don't want to watch it at all, they can go to hell. I don't care. Anyway, so...
All right, listen up. My name is PC Principal. I don't know about you, but frankly, I'm sick and tired of how minority groups are marginalized in today's society. And that's 2 days detention for you. And that's 2 days detention for you, young man. We'll see you at 4.
Are you crazy?
Because it's not Bruce.
Anyways, I got a soundboard going on here. So, anyways, guys, my son's calling me from behind me. Guys, don't forget to plug the channel once in a while if you guys want to buy me a coffee. Become a supporter on Patreon. I got my tip jar back up. My tip jar is located right here on the top of my channel. People are asking to put my tip jar back. So my tip jar is right here at the top. On the top right, you'll see it there, tip jar. Patreon, if you guys want to support this transmission. I'm down to pretty much $90 a month from AdSense. And my ads are still running on videos. I went from 2.4 million minutes watched per 28 days to 400,000 minutes watched per 48 days. So everything's went down. Everything's collapsing. It's falling apart under me, and it's gotten really bad. So, yeah. So if you want to support the transmission and you like this kind of thing we're doing here, this underground discussion, don't be. What's next week's show on? I don't know, guys. My dad's really sick. And I got to keep him comfortable. And I don't know what's going to happen next week, guys. So let's just do it day by day. I'll do a video every day and keep you guys up to date on what's going on. And and I'm spending a lot of time with my dad. This is the first 2 hours that I haven't spent with my dad today. So I'm going to go back and play some music with him and hang out and do stuff. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and thank you so much for your support.